Lucky Boys Podcast.
Italian is better on the East Coast than the West Coast. I have friends who live on the West Coast who came from the East, and they said Italian there is trash. Like there's some
Why
places,
is that?
There's some places that are okay.
I hear Mexican in California is just off the charts, and it
Yeah.
is. I actually had it. It's
Mexican
ridiculous.
is amazing. I heard if you go down to Texas, you can get really good Vietnamese food. Much better
True.
anywhere else.
True.
New York has no great Vietnamese food anymore.
That's
Not true Vietnamese.
that's,
There's a lot of Vietnamese immigrants that are in
Yeah.
Texas, right? In
Yeah.
Houston, in Houston.
And it's very Houston.
Houston. I live in New York. Okay, I call Houston Houston here. So
Yeah, it's more authentic. Like
Yeah.
in New York, it's less authentic. You know, you have a lot of people just trying to make their food. You know what they tasted once and try to recreate it. You know, it's really hard to do it that way. I've had a lot of different types of food in New York. I mean, I heard, like Italian is the one thing that is much better in New York.
I love Italian
you
food.
got the New York pizza, the New York
Yeah.
bagel. You can't replicate that
You
anywhere.
can't replicate that. Chinese food, I thought it was good here until I went to like Toronto. I was like, oh my god, you guys!
Toronto.
Oh my god, their Chinese food is so clean. It's a whole nother level than I would love to say New York, just out of my New York pride. But I got to keep it 100, man. Toronto, you guys are killing it with your Asian food there.
There's a lot more.
And I hear Vancouver too.
There's a lot more Hong Kong immigrants that go
Vancouver.
that live in Canada.
Yeah.
But people that live in New York City, East Coast, it's from different provinces of
It just
China.
you know what it is to me. It just feels like there's more love in Toronto Chinese food. It just feels like it tastes cleaner. It
It's
tastes
also
more
skill.
authentic.
It's more skill in the chef.
Yeah,
Trust me, I worked in Chinese kitchens in New York in like some of the Chinese restaurants. I asked them, I talked to the chefs, where on meal breaks, like, oh, how'd you learn how to cook? Well, I don't know what else to do because I have no other skills. I'm like, so you have a skill cooking? He's like, nope, I learned that when I came to New York. So I said, so you have no skill cooking? They're like, nope, I learned it all in the restaurants here. So I said, so you never cooked in China? Nope.
Oh,
I came here to New York. I learned because it was one of the only jobs that were hiring for my background. It's either I become an Uber driver or I cook Chinese food.
Oh my god.
Or like I work at a warehouse, very menial labor jobs,
Right.
things like that, So they're like, so reason why a lot of the good food is not in New York anymore is because a lot of the staff isn't great anymore.
Right.
They don't come here
and they
just
do
to
that
cook.
for cost cutting measures.
Yeah, they do it because they're cheaper to hire people without without training, proper training. They may have like 2 or 3 guys who are great in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get those guys cooking for you that day, your food is mediocre.
True. That's why so many restaurants are inconsistent.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh my god, this is the best restaurant, and then you go back in there and you go bring your date. You're like, well, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I did that. Like, I went to this restaurant. I don't want to say which one, but it's a Shanghai restaurant, and it's like a Shanghai fusion type, and it was so good. When I went there, I was like mind blown. I took a date there. We were just like, we always loved that spot. And a couple of my friends, we went there again. It was great. And then on a weekday, I took some of my colleagues there, and I was talking it up big time. We went there, we ordered just basic chicken and broccoli and some other stuff. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
Super salty, soggy. It was just overcooked. It was bouncy, really gummy-ish.
Yeah.
I was like, what? You have a kid cooking back there? It was just disgusting.
They might actually have a kid cooking back there. I worked at restaurants where the chefs who are cooking, sometimes for lunch shift, if it's not a busy lunch shift, they'll have newer guys cook because they're cheaper, and they'll have the guys who are faster cook the dinner shift.
Man. And just because of that one experience, I never went back there again. And I looked like an idiot in front of my colleagues. They were looking at me like, damn, I thought Will was like...
He knew his shit.
He knew his shit. He's got a weird palate.
Yeah, he brought us some weird Chinese restaurant with horrible chicken and broccoli.
Yeah.
What kind of food
That's
does
why
Will
you
eat?
felt bad.
That's why you got to find out who's cooking your food, right? You got to find out. Make friends with the chef.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, you got to know, like, the ins and outs of the restaurant. I mean, you got to... I always tell people, talk to the manager of the restaurant. Say, hey, man, the food is horrible today. What's going on? He might tell you honestly, like, hey, our head chef is off on Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
That happens.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
Because I've been in restaurants and I said, what's wrong with this bowl of ramen? This is not
Good.
not good. It's not how I had it last time. He's like, oh, yeah, we changed the recipe. We have a different, chef. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then that happens. Like, food changes very quickly. Like,
Yeah, it does.
like anything.
Or they have a different supplier.
Yeah.
That happens too.
Well, the supplies are pretty
Right.
much all the ingredients they order are the same now. It's pretty standardized.
Is it?
Yeah. Everyone gets the same ingredients now. You tell the company what you want, they'll send it to you. It's honestly breaks down right now to just how well the
You
kitchen
prepare
is
it?
trained.
I see. Yeah,
Or
that's
how
why
well
we
they
had that. We had that. Like there was this place we went in Brooklyn, and they had $50 omakases.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, man, it's so good.
Yeah.
It tastes like $100. Like if I didn't look at the menu for the price, I would think I'm at a place where it's more premium price wise.
Mm-hmm.
And when I spoke to one of the servers there, they were like, "Oh no, we get it from we get it from the same people they do. We get the flights every day from Japan.
Yeah,
and we get it flown in from the same people that they do." So I'm like, wow. So why are they able to pay for premium? Oh, we're not in Manhattan.
Location, yeah.
Yeah, location, and we just churn out volume.
Yeah.
So they depend more on volume than they do on just like this fancy sit down.
It's the same high quality, but you know, it's
Right.
just
The interior of the restaurant is like, you can tell it's a little
it's
more
drab. It's not.
Yeah.
it's not that high end. I mean, with restaurants in the city compared to restaurants in the outer boroughs, you would say in the city, if you have a meal in a restaurant, a nice restaurant, you're paying $150, $200 a person. You're not going to spend 35 minutes in there. You're going to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours. In Brooklyn, Queens, wherever, you have a $50 meal. You're like, hey, I'm going to spend 45 minutes because I'm not going to hold up this table.
Yeah.
You know, you have a different mentality going in. You're like, hey, this restaurant isn't a place I'm going to sit
Yeah.
for 2 hours with my date because it's kind of normal looking.
Right.
You know, it's not like somewhere we want to be. And, you know, the food comes out super quick.
Right.
Comes out really fast. So you're like, it's kind of like the restaurant telling you, hey, we need to turn your table. Get up.
Yeah.